Yo, what's up, guys? What's going on? Good afternoon. Bitcoin having a little bit of a dumpy dump, huh? A little bit of a dumpy dump. We're going to get into it. We're going to give you every little bit of it, guys. Almost right down at support. I told you guys in a video over on the Patreon this morning. We did the morning market overview. We talked about it. And we also talked about it yesterday here on the YouTube channel about a possible dump down to 117,300. We are only $250 away from that price target. So not too bad of a call. The question is, will 117,200 or 300 hold? That's going to be the true test. All right. So let's dive into it, guys. What do we got? Just the one super chat to start the stream. Ramona says, if you haven't joined the Patreon, you are missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime. Amen to that, guys. Amen to that. And listen, here's the thing. You guys are going to notice a bit of a change in direction of the channel moving forward. A lot of our videos are going to be a little deeper in terms of the depth of what we're diving into per project, and there's also going to be just a different flow, a different kind of. We're really going to lean into the educational side of it, so you'll notice a change in a lot of the videos. Strawberry Dragon, happy Friday, Rob, and future millionaires. Let's go. Ramona says, thank you, Rob, for all you do. Hit the likes, everybody. Absolutely. Can I get an amen to that? All right, let's get into the chat a little bit, guys. What do we have? Well, Quentin, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Nathan in the house. Healthy shakeout. Let's get it, brother. Absolutely. There she is. Gamma Goddess says, let's get this money. Ron, put the big boy pants on. DCA some more, or sit on your hands and touch some grass. Blessings, John, 316. What's happening, brother? Great live last night on the Patreon. Jasmine, for real. Blessing, Rob. Smash the likes. Absolutely. We crushed it with Max and Rue last night, as we usually do on Friday nights over on the Patreon. EZ says, yo, yo, yo. Angelo, I'm here also. Crypto member. There you go. H. Barbarina in the house, as always, guys. We have 140 people watching right now. We have 44 likes. Let's get that up to 100, guys. We can do it. Get your back into it. Daryl, let's get this sideways action done over the weekend already for upward movement next week. Absolutely. Little bit of a DCA opportunity over the weekend, followed by a continuation to the upside next week. I'd buy that for $1. Braveheart says, happy DCA Friday, Crypto Future Patreon and YouTube family. Big Rob is dropping the gems left and right over on the Patreon. Glad I sacrificed a cup of coffee a day for my membership. Spend money to make money. Exactly, guys. The price of the Patreon, less than a price of a cup of coffee a day. What other place on the face of the earth is going to educate you and make you life-changing wealth for free? Good luck with that one. Attila the Hun says, let's get this weekend over with and go. Okay, we already read that. Angelo, what's happening? I got a #1 crown. There you go. Braveheart says, hit those likes on the way in. Stop. Yes. Daryl, I also like the new countdown clock. You're the only one who noticed the new countdown clock, brother. Kizza, what's up, my guy? Hey, Rob, what's good? What do you think alts are down massively since why do I think alts are down massively since December? But BTC, because it's Bitcoin season. That's always going to happen. That always happens, right? Bitcoin has been drawing liquidity out of the alts, and that's always going to happen when Bitcoin season hits over the course of the last, 6-8 months, whatever it is, right? But you'll notice the exact opposite happen when it's time for the altcoins to shine, right? Angelo, just dollar cost averaging now till we see our altcoins push 10 to 15x. Let's go. Dave, what's up, man? Let's effing go, brother, man. Joy, what's going on? Happy Friday, everyone. Hit the likes. Yes, it is actually Open Mic Friday night, guys, hosted by Ramona herself. So check that out as well. Our very own crypto mom in the house. Jared, nothing but a buying opportunity. Hope everyone's having an awesome Friday and scooping this dip. Oh, House, what's up, buddy? Just added 1K in dry powder one last time. Not sure what to buy. Well, I mean, listen, just about anything, really. Just about anything on a day like today, right? Baban says, Swiftcoin, hell yeah. Paul, weekend pump on its way, all-time highs. That'd be nice. You know me, says Rob, I would have gotten wrecked long ago if it wasn't for you. Now, thanks to your help, I'm buying the dip. I will enjoy the rip and will be selling at a conservative exit price. Thank you. Hey, I got the fries that'll cross your eyes, my friend. Absolutely. Joy says, hey, Ramona, over the top. What's going on? Ray, what's going on, man? Jamie says, what's going down? It's me, Mario, Familia Future. Absolutely. Cryptus, what's happening? Good to see you. Let's get this money. Can I get an amen to that? Benjamin, what's happening? Happy Friday. When used taxi, yes. How do you go to the live Zoom call? Does that include with the Patreon? Anyone know the Zoom ID? The Zoom ID is dropped when it is time for the Zoom call. We drop a fresh new Zoom ID every time because people who leave the Patreon will no longer be able to join the calls, right? Angelo, you should not have a problem. There is a video about the schedule for the Patreon. It tells you exactly when the link will be dropped in the chat, in the crypto chat and everything. So I would highly recommend watching the video. Carlitos, Rob, what's up, brother? I'm all in on Swift at this point, 7 million. Nice. That's a nice bag, man. Oh, house. I know why it dumped. People liked your video. They didn't like your video. Yeah, exactly. Jesse and James, good afternoon, Rob. Could you let us know what catalyst caused this pullback? Thanks, buddy. It's a correction, man. That's it. It's chart action, right? You don't go on a monster run like this without having some sort of a correction, right? That's just chart action. There's no catalyst. So, Tola dropping that super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. Glad to have the support. Absolutely. You know me says hit the like and subscribe. Yes, yes, yes. DH, at this point in the cycle, should I buy more Miria since it's cheaper than Zebex? You know what? You really can't go wrong. Miria, Zebex, it's all dangerous, baby. It's all dangerous. Blake, I do e-commerce and Canada Post is on strike. I wish I had more dry powder. Yeah, good old Canada Post going on strike again. Trump messed the markets again. No, it wasn't. It wasn't him. You can't have this kind of a run up over the course of 2 weeks without a correction in the markets. This isn't Trump's fault. This isn't somebody's fault. That's just normal everyday price action on a chart. Nothing goes straight up and to the right without corrections along the way. See, what happened was people who were buying down here took profits up here. And that's why we dropped down here. That's just people being people. That's not somebody's fault. That's not some catalyst. It's just regular old price chart action. Too many people are indoctrinated into crypto under the impression that only catalysts move price up or down. That's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. So yeah. All right, so we are caught up in the chat. Let's get into the news just a little bit, guys. Right, what do we have? What do you say? What do you know? Oho says, you thinking more pullback this weekend? Yeah, I do. I think we could wick below 117,300, but I think for the most part, we'll climb back up again and we'll start closing above there. I don't think we really should go any lower than that. U.S. stocks slide as Trump threatens tariffs on China. S&P 500 drops 1.4%. U.S. markets ended the week deep in negative territory after President Donald Trump warned he might cancel a meeting with China's president, Jinping. Chow Jinping? I don't know. I can never pronounce his name right. It's the Canadian in me. And is weighing a massive increase in tariffs on Chinese goods. John feels super fantastic. Absolutely. The announcement reignited fears of a renewed U.S.-China trade war, sending shockwaves through the global markets. By midday Friday, the S&P 500 had fallen 1.43% to 6,639, giving up all of its weekly gains. The Nasdaq slid roughly 2%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 1%, extending the sell-off sparked by Trump's social media comments. He accused China of hostile actions, claiming Beijing was preparing to impose export controls on rare earth elements and other key materials, critical to global supply chains. The technology sector bore the brunt of the decline. AMD plunged 6%, Broadcom dropped 3%, and Qualcomm sank 5% after reports that Chinese regulators launched an antitrust probe into U.S. chip makers. Earlier, Chinese stocks had already weakened as Beijing implemented rare earth export restrictions and a special port fee on U.S. vessels, escalating tensions ahead of the next round of trade talks. Market analysts warn that the combination of trade risks, fiscal uncertainty, and tightening global liquidity could keep investors on edge. With the fear and greed index slipping towards neutral and volatility climbing, sentiment across equities and crypto alike remains fragile, heading into the next week. Open mic Friday night. Yes, it is. Milk Money says double the likes for double the gains. Can I get an amen to that? So, what else do we have? Now, guys, I made a video talking about World Liberty Financial when it had first launched and it had gotten listed on all of these exchanges, right? And I said, I think it was about 22, 23 cents at the time. I said it was not a good time to be buying World Liberty Financial coin. And oh my goodness, did I get roasted for that call? Did I get attacked by the World Liberty Financial community? However, I would say when you invest based on emotion and not based on research and logic, you end up losing and you end up attacking people based on emotion. So now I flip the script, okay? Because now what I say is, listen, I was never fighting World Liberty Financial. I was simply telling you it was not a good time to be finding an entry point or dollar cost averaging into it. I said, wait until it hits about 14, 15 cents, and that's where you're going to want to strike. Again, I got attacked. I got roasted by the community who was very, very emotional based on what I had to say. Fast forward to today, World Liberty Financial is 14 cents. And here I am telling you, it is a wonderful time to be dollar cost averaging or finding entry points on World Liberty Financial. Now, you must understand that this is not financial advice. It's just my opinion. Cody, what's up, buddy? Thank you so much for the super sticker. Kizza says 2026, 2027 will probably be a global dump like never. Yes, Kizza, you are absolutely correct, my friend. All markets are going to bleed. I think it's going to be glorious for anyone who wants to build a robust, completely diversified, well-rounded portfolio. You're absolutely right, my friend. Rob, do you think it's a good time to get to Zcash? No. Gain, what I would say, I do have a video, an educational video coming out this afternoon, all about Zcash. I would highly recommend before you buy it that you watch the video. I will give my opinions and my takes on whether it's a good time to be buying and where I think good time to be buying would be. So you're not going to want to miss that video, my friend. Make sure you watch it. Carlito, Litecoin is running nicely, supposedly. An ETF coming soon. Yeah, we've expected a Litecoin spot ETF for quite a while now. I do believe that a spot Litecoin ETF is inevitable. It is an eventuality. But back to World Liberty Financial, the price crashes 20% as token unlocks and whales dump fuel panic in their community. A combination of early unlocks, whale dumping, and panic contributed to a major World Liberty Financial price crash. WLFI traded at 1 point lower by more than 30%, extending a brutal multi-week sell-off that has erased nearly half of the token's market cap. On Friday, which is today, the World Liberty Financial token linked to the Trump family traded as low as 14 cents 05 before bouncing back to 14 cents 59. The crash extended a multi-week decline during which it lost nearly half of its value from the multi-month high of 25 cents too. On September 21st, still, even after its peak, the token did not decline as rapidly as it did on October 10th. Several other projects associated with Donald Trump are also falling as a result of the panic. Trump's meme coin lost 3.1% during the day, compounding a monthly loss of 18% on Trump coin DJT, which has no connection with the Trump family, fell 38.4% the same day. Guys, again, this is why you want to be a member of our educational training community over on the Patreon. We told you guys not to be buying World Liberty Financial when it was 24 cents. We told you it would drop to 14 cents, and here we are at 14 cents. Now, this is not to pump my own tires. This is simply to show you the value in spending the price of a cup of coffee to be a member of our community, because you would have saved yourself from buying in on this coin at 25 cents, and you would be able to be buying in now 11 cents cheaper, right? That's a big drop. So now a lot of people over in our Patreon community are buying in at much, much lower prices, and they will get much, much better entry points and higher gains as a result. That in itself is the value of being a member of our Patreon community. Dion, what's going on, man? What do you think about Billy, newly listed on Kraken? What is Billy? I've never heard of it, my friend. I've never heard of it. Why did the World Liberty Financial token price collapse? Several catalysts contributed to the steep decline in the WLFI token. The most likely explanation is the lingering effects of early World Liberty Financial unlocks. Notably, the project unlocked 20% of all pre-sale tokens on September 1st, the same day that trading started. This contributed to the explosion of liquidity that many early investors sold. However, not all were so lucky, and that is explicitly something I warned everybody about, was that the early sellers were going to dump as soon as possible. And here we are, after the World Liberty Financial community laughed at me and told me that I was wrong because World Liberty Financial holders didn't need the money, therefore early investors didn't need the money, therefore we're not going to dump. However, fast forward to today, and it turns out I was right, and those people in the comment section are nowhere to be found. So, always make sure you are investing based on research, logic, and not emotion. What else do we have? Let's go segue over to Squawk Box. All right, so Rep. Lawler and Rep. Jeffries and Senator Schumer are holding the American people hostage for no reason. The Democrats.
We are simply not going to go along to get along the Republican effort to continue to gut the health care of the American people. This is a cost of living issue, and it's a life or death issue for millions of Americans.
And that was House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries making his case yesterday when he joined Squawk Box. Joining us now, New York Republican Congressman Mike Lawler. Congressman, it's good to see you. Is there a possibility of a year extension? What happened? Isn't that what you were presenting to Leader Jeffries the other day? What caused that whole ruckus?
Precisely, Joe. I mean, I went over to ask him to sign on to a one-year extension of the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits that were put in place during COVID. Democrats put them in place for 4 years, slated to expire at the end of this year. And so I asked him to join a bipartisan bill to extend it by a year, since he claims this is what he cares about and is what he is fighting for. And one would think that if there's a clean one-year extension on the table, that he would be interested in doing that. But the reality, Joe, is that's not what he's interested in. He and Chuck Schumer have shut the government down because they are petrified of AOC and Zohran Mamdani. You heard in the exchange, he refused to answer whether or not he supports Zohran Mamdani, wouldn't condemn him. Yeah, wouldn't condemn him
on the show,
about his blame the Jews statement on October 7th that he put out. And it just speaks volumes to what this is really about, which is Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries want to show their progressive left base that they're standing up to and fighting back against Donald Trump. Well, and you heard him in his own statements there.
Yeah, he brought up Trump immediately with you. He said, did your boss send you over here or something? But is it possible, and I can see why, if you came to me with that, I don't know whether you... Or is it possible to get a one-year extension? You could get that done. Did he just doubt whether you could get that done, or is it not really what they want?
I think it's possible, but it's not really what they want. But I think if the objective is to ensure that the American people don't see a healthcare premium spike, if the objective is to keep the government open, then there's a very easy way to do this. Pass the clean CR that is sitting in the Senate right now. Get all of your Democrats to sign on to this bill. There's already 14 Republicans on it. And we can put enough pressure on leadership to move the bill. But you don't do this at the barrel of a gun. And you don't hold the American people hostage, which is precisely what he's doing, which is contrary to all of his previous statements on this matter. And that's why I went over and called him out. You know, he said last week, if you have something to say it to my face. So I went and said it to his face. And obviously, he didn't like that very much, which is why he was melting down, yelling, screaming, stammering, sputtering all over the place, couldn't answer a question, and just kept yelling about Trump and, you know, saying that I'm embarrassing myself. What's embarrassing is that he and Chuck Schumer are holding the American people hostage for no reason. And that's what I was calling out.
There's a lot of Republicans that are, I don't know, maybe they're more conservative. They don't want to, they want these subsidies to lapse. And they point out that the lapsing of the subsidies isn't the reason that Obamacare and premiums are getting more expensive every year, that it's flaws in the program itself. So they want to just nip it in the bud. But
and Joe, they make a very valid point. If you look at health insurance premiums,
why extend it a year? You are giving the Democrats what they and do I smell an opening here for a deal? Is that the way this is going to finally happen? Is this the way that the reopening occurs? They get a year extension and vote on the clean CR. Is that what you think?
Yeah. So I'll answer both questions. First, my colleagues are right in pointing out that health insurance premiums have risen by over 60% since Obamacare took effect nationwide. So Obamacare was intended to do a number of things, including reducing the overall cost of health insurance and increase access. It has failed miserably in its objective, and the only way it has become affordable is with these premium tax credits and these subsidies, which are used to pay the insurance companies. Right. What I'm saying is, look, we are obviously at a point where this is slated to expire. Americans are struggling after 4 years of Joe Biden's inflationary policies. We don't want to crush them with health care spikes. And so if you extend this a year, it buys us time to actually fix the fundamental problems with our health care system. That to me is a reasonable approach so that the American people don't suffer because of the incompetence of the Biden administration putting these premium tax credits in for 4 years slated to expire, and an Obamacare system that has actually made health care less affordable for the vast majority of Americans. So to me, this is about solving a short-term problem while actually giving us time to fix the longer-term issues here.
That would be about a $45 billion expense. Over 10 years, I understand it's about $450 billion to extend those. So you're talking about a tenth of that. But what guarantees would Democrats have that after they reopen the government, I mean, how would this be written? How would they agree to doing that? Because it sounds like there's a possibility that, I mean, I think you're giving in to Democrats, and that's not, on closing the government, they're getting exactly what they want for not voting for a CR. That's a bad precedent, but at least we'd get the government reopened again.
We already had this bill in the works before they shut the government down. A number of us realized this was an issue, and we're working with leadership on it. The Democrats are entirely wrong to have shut the government down. They're entirely wrong to trying to be extort leadership and the White House and try to get their policy demands. This is a serious issue that we have to address, however. And so my point is open up the government, pass the clean CR that has been sitting in the Senate for nearly 3 weeks. Chuck Schumer always said, we got to keep the government funded and open. We got to pass clean CRs. You don't, bang your fist on the table. You don't stomp your feet and demand your way. So they need to do that. They need to open the government. Leader Thune has already said they are open to discussing these subsidies once the government is open. So to me, there's no guarantee to give them. There's no quid pro quo. They need to do their job. They need to make sure our troops are getting paid. They need to make sure that those Americans that rely on critical programs like WIC and SNAP have the funding for that. We have a clean CR to do all that. So pass it, open the government, and then let's address fiscal year 26 approach and issues like this.
I was trying to figure out why Leader Jeffries is so involved. It's already passed the House, but I guess I'd have to ask you the same. Question. It's not your problem. It's Schumer's problem and Thune's problem. But it is a problem, and military pay is coming up. I think in a couple of October 15th. So it'll be over by then, don't you think? I think something.
Unfortunately, Joe, no, I don't think so. I think Chuck Schumer is so petrified of his left flank. Remember back in March,
the military's not going to get paid. All the government workers are not going to get paid except for congressional members.
Right. Well, look at Schumer's quote yesterday. Every day is getting better for us. Who is us? The Democrats, not the American people, not our military, not our border patrol. This is fundamentally wrong. It's why, by the way, when Joe Biden was president, I pushed back against Republicans who wanted to shut the government down over the open border policies. While I fundamentally disagreed with Biden's open borders, I did not think shutting the government down was actually going to solve the problem. And herein lies the fundamental issue. They are not shutting the government down over health care. They're shutting the government down to show their progressive left base that they're fighting. That's what this is about. It has nothing to do with health care. If it did, they would actually sign on to the bill that would extend it by a year. And that's what I was going to Leader Jeffries to point out, the absurdity of his position.
Yeah, but that made him very, that made him very uncomfortable when you put it in the light of day like that. I can see his point. It's like, oh, stop. Anyway, thank you. Cuomo, it was 22. It's now 13 points difference. Is there any way that Mamdani is not the mayor?
Look, I think obviously so long as it's a three-person race, it makes it very difficult to get to 50. To get to 50, which is really what needs to happen here. Whoever the opposition is needs to get to 50. But obviously Cuomo is seen a little bump with Adams getting out. There's still some time left. You got to duke it out and make the case to New Yorkers about how disastrous Zohran Mamdani really will be. You looked at his blame the Jews statement the other day, which was unconscionable. At a time President Trump is negotiating peace, he's blaming the Jews for being victims on October 7th. And you look at his policies from freezing the rent to free busing, government-run grocery stores, defunding the police, shutting down prisons, legalizing prostitution.
That's a lot to talk about. Let's continue on here, guys. Let's get into some Ethereum buzz, okay? Ethereum's rise and institutional influence. So Ethereum is currently trading at over $4,500. Is it? Let's have a look. No, it's not. It dumped with Bitcoin. It is at $4,079. Shannon, thank you so much. Sending lots of love, buddy. Thank you for all you do for us. Hey, thank you for always being here and always supporting me and the channel, my friend. Absolutely. Okay, so the surge is driven by ETF inflows, highlights the growing institutional interest. So we're still seeing massive institutional interest into Ethereum. The recent trading activity is marked by strong institutional hype and liquidity sourced largely from American investors. Notably, the rise in the ETF inflows has accelerated on-chain activity, leading to strengthened token values and market positions. Involvement includes Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, who leads protocol upgrades such as Pectra. No, PEX, no, you know what it is. Major financial institutions have released ETFs like iShares, Ethereum Trust, showing $4.4 billion in assets under management, attributed partly to a robust U.S. participation. The surge in Ethereum's value directly influenced both the cryptocurrency and broader markets. Layer 2 solutions benefit with increased market volume and transaction fees reductions, spurring further adoption and activity in the ecosystem. Financially, this shift sees institutions adding Ethereum as a reserve asset, transforming it from a speculative play to a commodity offering potential yield. US-based funds are significantly contributing to the adoption and rise of prices in Ethereum. However, we're also looking at the verge of the Solana spot ETF getting approved, which will also benefit from the staking feature. So, historically, Ethereum has demonstrated similar patterns, marking potential targets between 8,500 and 12,200, reflecting past performance. Can we break 10K this cycle for Ethereum? And the always trustworthy JP Morgan thinks the Solana ETF launch won't be the next big boom. So you can pretty much take the opposite of whatever JP Morgan says in regards to crypto, and you can take it to the bank. Kind of like the inverse Kramer effect. So yes, we kind of covered this a little bit yesterday. JP Morgan saying there won't be any institutional interest in the spot Solana ETF. I did actually ask AI about how often Jamie Dimon is incorrect when it comes to his predictions for crypto of any kind. And he has been wrong so many times that even AI said it is uncalculable. Calculable? Even AI couldn't figure out how many times Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan have been incorrect in their price predictions of any sort of crypto price performance whatsoever. So I wouldn't put a lot of stake in anything that JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon have to say when it comes to crypto. The little run for wormhole, was it? Swerve? What? What you talking about? What you talking about? Wormhole's not running today. Nothing's running today. Nothing. Niente. Not a thing. Not a thing. So yeah, guys, let's go back over to the Bitcoin chart. We're almost down at our price target. As you can see, bada boom, bada bam, bada bam. Look at that. Just about down at our support level. $117,514. Our support level sits at $117,300. Can we climb back above support at $118,675 before this daily candle closes? We'll find out, guys. I got a coaching call to do over on the Patreon. I do have an educational Zcash video coming out this afternoon as well. Make sure you check that out, guys. If you want to jump over to the Patreon and get the full education, all of our training courses are free to all of our Patreon members. So check that out, guys. There is a QR code at the top of the top right corner, or you can use the link down in the description. Become a member today. Join our trading group. It's less than the price of a cup of coffee. My friends, you do not want to miss out on the education of a lifetime. Learn how to do this space properly. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.